You might believe that forgetfulness, foggy thinking, or walking into a room and forgetting why you went there is just another sign. At Aging Ensure, that's what we've been told, that memory loss is something we simply accept as part of getting older. But what if I told you that wasn't the full story? What if I told you that certain fruits, not pills, not complicated regimens, just everyday fruits, could actually slow down how fast your brain ages after 70? It sounds simple, but sometimes the most powerful answers come from the earth, not a bottle. I want to take you into the quiet town of Appleton, Wisconsin. That's where I met Arthur, a 76-year-old retired carpenter who, 10 years ago, was on the verge of giving up on his memory. Once a sharp thinker who ran his own construction business, Arthur started slipping. First it was small, forgetting tool names, then appointments, then mixing up the names of his own grandchildren. His doctor called it mild cognitive decline and told him it was normal. But Arthur didn't settle for that. He believed in something deeper, what he called elderly wisdom, passed down from his father and grandfather. He believed the body, especially after 70, responds to kindness, and food is one of the kindest forms of care you can offer it. So Arthur started researching and experimenting. He didn't change everything overnight. He just started adding powerful fruits to his morning and evening routines. Not smoothies filled with sugar, not supplements, just simple fruits. And one of the first he turned to was something you might have sitting in your fridge right now: blueberries. Now I know it sounds basic. You've heard they're healthy, but did you know that these tiny blueberries are packed with anthocyanins, natural plant compounds that protect your brain cells from aging? A study from Harvard showed that seniors who regularly ate blueberries experienced a delay in cognitive decline by up to 2.5 years. That's not a theory, that's science. Think about that. You don't need to add years to your life if the years you have aren't clear. What blueberries offer is clarity. They feed the brain with antioxidants that reduce inflammation, improve blood flow, and boost neuron communication. Arthur said after just 2 months of having half a cup a day, usually in his oatmeal or just as a snack, he was recalling names faster, feeling more mentally present, and even solving his beloved crossword puzzles again. But blueberries are just the beginning. Let's talk about a fruit that looks like a challenge to eat, but is worth every bit of the effort: the pomegranate. Now, the pomegranate isn't just delicious. It's one of the most powerful fruits on the planet when it comes to memory and blood flow to the brain. Why? Because it's loaded with polyphenols, antioxidants that directly support brain health and reduce plaque buildup in the arteries, which is key for seniors who want to stay sharp. There was a study done by UCLA where seniors who drank pomegranate juice daily showed significant improvement in memory scores in just 4 weeks. That's not magic, that's nutrition doing its job. I want to tell you about Dolores, an 82-year-old retired librarian from Connecticut. She was articulate, passionate, and loved reading poetry out loud. But after a brief hospitalization, she noticed her clarity slipping. Not dramatically, just enough to scare her. Her grandson, who's studying neurology, introduced her to the power of pomegranates. 1 small glass of unsweetened juice in the morning, that was it. 4 weeks later, Dolores said she didn't just feel mentally sharper, she felt emotionally lighter. She said, "I don't just remember better, I feel better." That's something many seniors don't realize. The foods that help your brain often lift your mood too. Here's the thing, senior health isn't about chasing youth. It's about protecting what still matters most: your presence, your awareness, your ability to connect. That's why these stories from people like Arthur and Dolores matter. Because they're not fiction, they're elderly reflections. They are life lessons from the elderly who refused to surrender to age and instead found quiet strength in everyday choices. And here's what that teaches us: it's never too late. Your brain can change, your energy can return, you can still surprise yourself. Now I'll give you a little hint. Next we'll talk about 2 more superfruits. And one of them, it's green, fuzzy, and often ignored in the fruit aisle. But research shows it can literally help you fall asleep faster and stay asleep longer. And the second, it's technically a nut, but its effects on your brain and blood pressure are so powerful. It's often classified as a heart medicine in disguise. I'll tell you about both next time, and the stories of 2 more incredible seniors who unlocked their power. Before we go, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Are you in the US, Canada, somewhere in Europe? Let me know in the comments. This channel is about more than just tips. It's about inspiration, about motivation, about honoring the experience and strength of those over 65. So if you believe your best years still matter, Even now, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. Because here at Elderly Reflections, we don't just believe in aging gracefully. We believe in aging powerfully. When you think about aging, it's easy to believe that slowing down is just the price of a long life. That mental fog, that little hesitation before recalling a name. Maybe you've been told it's natural, but what if nature also gave us the antidote? We've already seen how blueberries and pomegranates made a remarkable difference for Arthur and Dolores. But I promise you 2 more superfruits. And trust me, these next ones are not only powerful, they're also deeply connected to the daily rhythm of a healthy, vibrant life after 70. So let's keep building that momentum, that quiet but steady motivation to care for ourselves the way we deserve. The third superfruit on our list is one you might have overlooked 1,000 times. Kiwi, that fuzzy little fruit, sitting shyly next to apples and bananas in the supermarket, holds one of the greatest secrets for senior health. You see, kiwi isn't just rich in vitamin C. It's loaded with serotonin precursors, helping your body naturally regulate sleep and mood. A 2011 clinical study from Taiwan found that seniors who ate 2 kiwis an hour before bed fell asleep faster, slept deeper, and woke feeling more refreshed. Now imagine how sleep impacts your brain. During sleep, your brain clears toxins, repairs cells, and consolidates memories. If sleep suffers, memory suffers. If sleep heals, memory strengthens. I want to introduce you to Harold, a 74-year-old retired firefighter from Montana. Harold spent most of his career battling flames, saving lives, staying sharp under intense pressure. But after he retired, something shifted. His sleep became restless, his memory a little cloudy. He said, "I wasn't scared of dying, I was scared of forgetting." One evening at a senior wellness seminar, Harold heard a young nutritionist talk about the study on kiwi. He figured, what's there to lose? Every night, Harold started eating 2 ripe kiwis about an hour before bed, just like the study suggested. After 3 weeks, he told me, I felt like someone turned the lights back on inside my head. His dreams were turned, his mornings came easier, his memory, his laughter, his sense of calm, they all came back. That's the quiet kind of inspiration I think we all need to hear more. Because life lessons from the elderly aren't always loud. Sometimes they're as simple as choosing a piece of fruit with intention. Now let's move to our 4th superfruit. And here's where the story gets even more interesting. Technically it's a nut, but for seniors, it acts more like a miracle worker for the brain and heart. I'm talking about walnuts. Now before you think, yeah, I know nuts are good, let me tell you why walnuts deserve special attention after age 70. Walnuts are uniquely rich in alpha-linolenic acid, LAL, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid that supports brain cell membrane integrity, reduces inflammation, and improves blood flow. A study published by UCLA showed that seniors who ate walnuts performed better on cognitive tests. Not just a little better, but noticeably better. It wasn't a fluke. It was a pattern strong enough to inspire a lot of researchers to call walnuts one of the most brain-protective foods in existence. I'll share the story of Jeanette, an 80-year-old painter living in Vermont. Jeanette had a brilliant mind, a sharp wit, and an eye for color that made her art alive with emotion. But after she turned 76, she started noticing gaps, forgetting words mid-sentence, leaving her tea kettle on the stove. Her doctor was quick to offer medication, but Jeanette believed deeply in elderly wisdom. She wanted to heal herself naturally first. So she started simple, a handful of raw walnuts every evening, while she sat on her porch and watched the sun sink behind the green Vermont hills. Within a few months, not only had her memory stabilized, but her cholesterol levels had improved. Her blood pressure was more balanced, and she said her energy during the day was stronger than it had been in years. Jeanette said something to me I'll never forget. She said, "Taking care of my mind is how I respect the life I've been blessed with." That right there is what elderly reflections are all about. Real wisdom earned through experience, humility, and quiet resilience. Now think about it, blueberries, pomegranates, kiwis, and walnuts. None of these are exotic. None are expensive or hard to find. Yet they offer a natural, powerful form of healing that so many seniors are desperately searching for but overlook because it's just too simple to seem real. But it is real, and science backs it up at every turn. These foods offer nutrients that the aging brain craves, polyphenols to fight oxidative stress, antioxidants to repair damaged cells, healthy fats to build strong brain walls, and sleep support to allow the brain to clean house every night. But what's even more important than the nutrients themselves is the act of choosing them. Every time you reach for one of these fruits, or for a handful of walnuts, Instead of a handful of chips, you're making a statement to yourself. You're saying, I still matter. You're saying, I still have chapters left to write. Because senior health isn't just about avoiding illness. It's about defending your vitality, your dignity, your memory, and your relationships. It's about keeping your own story alive, sharp, proud, and fully yours. So as you prepare your kitchen or plan your next grocery trip, I want you to think about Harold, about Jeanette, about the countless seniors who refuse to let aging define their limits. I want you to remember the quotes that they lived out through their choices. Quotes that aren't written in books, but carved into the rhythms of their lives. It's never too late to nourish what matters most. Small choices make the biggest difference. Honor your body, and your mind will follow. Next, we'll connect all the dots. I'll show you exactly how to build an easy daily plan that includes these 4 superfruits, and how to avoid the common mistakes that actually speed up brain aging without you even realizing it. Plus, I'll share the incredible story of a senior who, even after being diagnosed with early cognitive decline, completely rewrote her future just by changing how she ate and lived. Before we wrap up, don't forget to tell me, where are you watching from? Are you joining us from the US, the UK, Europe, or somewhere else? I want to hear your story. Because this channel, Elderly Reflections, isn't just about me talking at you. It's about building a community, sharing real inspiration, real motivation, and real elderly wisdom that lifts all of us up together. If this moved you even a bit, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay tuned for more. Because your brain, your life, and your story deserve to stay sharp, vibrant, and deeply alive. There's a quiet power in small routines, the kind you build slowly, intentionally, one choice at a time. We've recently uncovered 4 incredible superfruits that can actually help slow down brain aging after 70. Blueberries, pomegranates, kiwi, and walnuts. Each one, backed by science, wrapped in the quiet, unshakable wisdom of real seniors who refuse to let their best years fade quietly. But now let's take all of that elderly wisdom and turn it into a simple, sustainable daily habit. A ritual that honors your body, your mind, and the long road you've traveled to get here. Let me introduce you to Eleanor. Eleanor is 85 years old, living alone on a small farm just outside of Leeds, England. She lost her husband a few years ago, and with that loss came isolation, sadness, and the creeping fog of forgetfulness. She told me there were days she felt like her life had narrowed into just getting through the day, that the bright edges of who she used to be were growing duller. But Eleanor wasn't someone who gave up easily. She remembered something her mother used to say, a simple quote that stayed with her all her life. Your future self is built by today's smallest acts. Those words became her anchor. So Eleanor decided to change the way she started and ended her days, weaving these 4 superfruits into a rhythm, but rediscover her sense of self. In the morning, Eleanor starts with blueberries. She adds a handful of fresh when she can get them, frozen when she can't, into a bowl of warm oatmeal. No sugar, just oats, blueberries, and sometimes a splash of almond milk. She told me, it's like giving my brain a shield every morning. In the afternoon, around lunch, she enjoys a small salad topped with pomegranate seeds, their ruby color like little jewels of hope scattered across her plate. The antioxidants in those seeds aren't just helping her memory. They're fueling her blood flow, keeping her heart strong, her thoughts sharp. In the early evening, about an hour before bed, she eats 2 ripe kiwis. Some days she slices them over a little cottage cheese. Other days she just eats them plain, savoring the bright, tart flavor that feels like a celebration of life. And just before bed, she keeps a tiny bowl of walnuts by her reading chair. 6 or 7 halves, not too many, just enough. She cracks them slowly, mindfully, letting that slow-release omega-3 oil soak into the work her body and mind will do overnight. It's not a complicated system. It's not expensive. It's not trendy. It's simple, it's real, it's powerful. That's the beauty of Elderly Reflections. They remind us that the most profound solutions are often the ones that feel the most human. Now let's talk strategy for a moment. One of the most common mistakes seniors make when trying to eat healthier is overwhelming themselves with change. Cutting out everything, adding too much at once. The key to building lasting habits, especially after 65, is momentum, not perfection. You don't have to overhaul your diet overnight. You don't have to follow a strict rule book. Start by adding just 1 superfruit per day. Just 1, let it become part of you. When it's no longer a task, but a ritual, then add the 2nd, then the 3rd. This is how motivation stays alive. Not through force, but through kindness to yourself. And while we're at it, let's be honest about what to avoid. Sugary processed snacks. They're everywhere and they're tempting. But sugar ages the brain at a terrifying speed. Fried foods, heavily salted chips, excessive alcohol at night. These don't just weigh down your body. They fog your thinking. They fray the connections between your neurons. Protecting your brain isn't just about what you add, it's about what you stop feeding it too. I want you to imagine this. Every evening you're making a small promise to yourself. You're choosing nourishment over numbness. You're choosing clarity over confusion. You're writing your own future, one choice at a time. This isn't just senior health, it's senior strength. It's inspiration at the deepest level. It's the belief that no matter where you are on the timeline of life, you still get to shape what tomorrow feels like. Before we close, let me share one last story about Michael, an 88-year-old former violinist from New York City. Michael was diagnosed with early-stage dementia 5 years ago. His doctor said medication might help slow things down, but Michael wanted more. He wanted to fight. So he combined a brain-nourishing diet, heavy with these 4 superfruits, with light exercise and daily violin practice, even when his fingers trembled. And today, 5 years later, he still plays. He still remembers. He still teaches younger students. Michael told me with tears in his eyes, "I don't know how long I have, but whatever time I've got left, I want to be here for it." Choosing to show up fully, with love, with strength, with gratitude. So tonight or tomorrow morning, when you reach for a snack or plan your meal, ask yourself, is this feeding the future I want? Is this how I honor the decades I fought so hard to live through? If this message resonates with you, please like this video, subscribe to Elderly Reflections, and join this growing family of people who believe that aging isn't an end, it's an evolution. Share in the comments where you're watching from: US, Canada, Australia, Europe. I want to know your story because every senior story is a library of wisdom, and you, my friend, are still writing yours. Thank you for being here. Thank you for believing in your own life lessons from the elderly. And thank you for reminding the world that age isn't something we fear, it's something we respect, celebrate, and live fully.